I need a replacement for my IUD, and I'm too scared of the pain and the procedure of it all to get it done, but I'm also afraid that if I wait too long, it will no longer be an option. And I know it could be strange for somebody with my body and my face to complain about this, but the truth is, I was raised woman until I wasn't, and how and when and why that happened is not really any of your business, but I became whatever this is, which is to say, I feel like I owe you certainty. These truths make a lot of folks squirm in their seat, say, I don't care how you live your life as long as you shut up about it, but these same saluters of strategic silence always seem to have something new to say to me. In the last 2 months, I've been called bitch and dyke and faggot and fairy and tranny, but don't get me wrong. There's a lot of safety in wearing a body and a face like mine. I get by just fine, mostly in bathrooms and parking lots and locker rooms, and sometimes I even walk home alone without thinking twice. But the fear inside of my bones is starting to feel a lot more justified, and it's not just that I can't get the job I want or feel a little bit robbed of a childhood that doesn't reek of anxiety, sweat, and the only kind of bloodstain you're supposed to be ashamed of. It's not just the press conferences or the laws or the hearings or the spotting. It's the constant knowledge that so many souls who consider themselves good people feel holy while calling my family disgusting, grooming, freaks playing dress up. And no, I don't mean family like blood. And yes, I do mean family like bleeding, because it always just circles back to the bleeding. And I need the piece of politicized plastic to stop the bleeding. And I can't stop thinking about a cracked head seeping red when I walk into a building with suspended ceilings. And I know that nobody inside of a Planned Parenthood is trying to kill me, but it's the outside that I'm worried about, and I just never know where they're hiding. There is something so familiar about not getting to decide what to call your body. There is something so familiar about being named a danger while you're choking. There is something so familiar about walking a little faster to get inside of the place that's supposed to be an escape. There is something so familiar about settling for scraps to stay safe.
Poem inspired by the Instagram photo of a marquee that read, "If being queer was a choice, I'd be queerer." Now, queerness is unique to every queer. I think being queerer for me would probably start by changing my name to Roy GMF Biv. I am the rainbow and I am the pot of gold. Y'all are lucky to have this queer spitting queer gold at you. Snatch it up, BB. These words are more collectible than a holographic Charizard card. No, forget Charizard. I'd rather be Dragonite. That gay dragon. Actually, Dragonair, the previous evolution, is the one that's like really serving. I'm not evolving it as an aesthetic choice. In 2018, yikes. I wrote a poem, yikes, titled I'm So Gay, ... And like 2018, Ben was yikes. But oh, I think we can be so much queerer. Like a gayer Kirby, I want to inhale the whole Pride Parade. And every queer, again, is enough. But today, I choose more camp, more fabulous. I am the whole music festival. There is no opening act because who would dare open for this? I want to be so queer that it opens doors. Lets the baby queers have it a little easier. At my senior prom, a boy showed up in drag, a boy I did not know, a boy I wanted to know, myself from the suburbs of Omaha with nothing of a queer vocabulary, never even considering being out. We all watched her. Some repulsed, many like myself mesmerized. Emboldened by that bravery, I publicly came out that summer. I dream of a world so queer where coming out isn't even necessary. That it's not queer adjective, strange, odd, but rather queer noun. The rapturous joy you bow down before, flowers blooming with every queer step. I want to serve a look so stunning it turns every bigot looking at me into stone. Want to be so queer that required reading is just a picture book of me serving looks. I want to be so queer I'm a deity. So queer I start believing in myself, in this beautiful mess of yes, in this more than enough, no, way more than enough. I am way more than enough. Enough, enough. Amen.
I can't read this poem yet. December 25th, 2024, my grandma's kitchen. I'm helping peel 28 potatoes for Christmas mash. It takes a minute. My grandma and I engage what I lovingly like to call potato talk. People are strangely honest when their body is focused on a task. It leaves space for the mind to speak outwardly. I wrote my grandma a poem for her 73rd birthday. It made her cry, and she got it framed, printed on pretty turquoise construction paper, hung in her atrium. I jokingly mentioned that I hope you're fine with my Christmas gifts, Grandma, because I couldn't find anything that can outshine that piece of writing. She smiles and is silent for a moment as she continues to peel. Then she suddenly asks, not looking away from the potatoes, "Jules, will you promise to read that poem at my funeral?" I freeze. My mind races 1,000 different thoughts. Grandma, fearing my hesitation would be perceived as negative, I quickly answer, "Oh, Grandma, of course, I promise I'll read it. I'd love to. I'd be honored. I'd be honored." We went back to peeling potatoes after that, but that promise has stuck in the back of my mind. My grandma is not a morbid woman. I'd more describe her as prepared. Death isn't taboo to her. Her will is all in order, and for the past couple of years, she's labeled certain expensive objects with our names. But a promise like this feels different. It's not something that says, have this after I'm gone. It's asking, I want you to represent how I was when I was here. Jules, promise to tell everyone what kind of grandma I am. Grandma, I promise now, but when the time comes that I don't even want to think about, I'm not sure I'll be able to read it with the same poise you're used to. It's not just that. It's not just that, Grandma. I've now made a promise that I must outlive you. Hundreds of statistics swirl in my head, along with the old thought I'd eventually be among them. But now I can't. I must continue to live, if not for the one open mic I now promised I won't miss. That's 28. All of the potatoes are peeled. The water is boiling. Grandma's washing the dishes. I promise I'll read the poem, just not yet. Not for dear God, hopefully a few more Christmases, not for a few more grandparents' days. The frame that holds it better break before I read it again. Not till all the potatoes are peeled. Yes, Grandma, I promise I'll read it, just not yet.
This one is called The Genie May Be Free, But Is He Equal? On the list of 10 things I most desire, 9 of them are political. I used the 10th to wish for a different list. I don't want more wishes. I know that's against the rules. I just want a world where I can feel okay using the other 9 for myself. Like, I wish I could wish for a big fluffy doggo that knew how to talk, you know? Or Snapchat filters that you could wear over your real face. I wish I could wish that all broadcast news was animated, because cartoons just make things more manageable. You know, yes, the world is burning, but I'm not dodging physics-defying anvils or dynamite in dark spaces. I wish I could wish for a self-clean setting for my body. You know, a flick of the switch and poof, I'm ready for the day. I wish I could wish for a bed that conformed to my body and my partner's together, filled the spaces between us with extra softness, pushed him closer when my trauma intrudes on my dreams, nudged my fingers to his cheek when the sun comes through the blinds, my lips to the space behind his ears. I wish I could wish for everything or anything or maybe even nothing at all. How sweet would that be? To answer a limitless offer with, no thanks, we're good.
When we both met, we were fledgling writers, and we decided to write a story together, one of simple love. the sort that enamored us and sickened those around. We were fools and young, but we grew together till we couldn't. Sharing the parts of us that we kept to ourselves, we learned the secret turnings of each other's heart, like how to move out of the bed without waking the other, or how sinning in a car in front of a church was the best kind of heresy for a pastor kid like me. And we were amateur musicians. We made mistakes, occasionally ruining the music we played. We sang off key and swayed to our own rhythms. I now see the silliness in the dance we did when it came to arguments. I treated it like a game, a voice to be outsung instead of made harmony. I thought the music would stop when we married, a conclusion we needed to achieve, but when we got there, I changed and you shifted to a different key. We drifted, our story written in song, now scattered notes upon crescendoing problems. I thought a happily ever after started when the curtains closed. I was mistaken. I was raised believing that marriage was the goal and ownership in relationships was normal. I took too long in learning that men are trained in taking, that men are fools, and that play love, that like it's meant to be conquered, but things got better. So the story not over, we grew together a little longer, found the missing notes that made the music better. But the interesting thing about music is once you begin to make the wrong tones, things tend to fall apart. So slowly we started storing the small stuff that bothered us, and it began to build. The politeness fizzled from our language until you found someone else whose songs seemed to fit you better. I was unaware of the tune you sang with another. I began to notice the emptiness in our melody. You'd say the moments of silence were just the appropriate pauses in our tempo. Until your secret serenade stumbled into ours, the dissonance it caused sent the music to unravel. And still, I tried one last time. I hummed a tune, and you decided not to reply. Instead, the last noise we made was the scratching of our signatures on a decree of dissolution.
So the Navajo or Diné people tell stories about Spider Woman, who was the first to weave the web of the universe. She taught them how to weave and how to create beauty and how to tell stories. So this is a poem about bugs. There's poets in my hair again. So small, so sweet, so quick on their feet. They climb me and I hold them as best as I can. Limbs akimbo to be the best foothold I can be. I think they like me. I think they want to run through my branches like Cicada's song. I think they wonder why my roots are on my head instead of underground. One crawls up my neck and whispers in my ear, shh, listen to me, two legs. 'Cause, ooh, I'm a song, a scuttling, scurrying storyline, an anecdotal arachnid weaving invisible witticisms all around your feet, in your hair. You could barely tell how intertwined your life is with mine until the sunlight shines on my silk lines just right. And you catch the glint of good stories trailing behind me. I'll share some with you if you can learn to be still. If you can learn that your story doesn't stop at your skin, if you can learn to look out for the little things, if you could just shh.